Here in our Abuja studios. And I believe the youngest amongst us, without getting into ageism, will be Dr. Mukhtar Imam. Dr. Mukhtar Imam, what is happening?
Thank you very much. What is happening is that we're seeing grievances being heard. People are, particularly the young, are coming out to say there are underlying issues that are fundamental that requires the attention of government and people in position of authority. The reality is we have to get certain things out of the way. Like I said, there are fundamental issues underlying the Nigerian system. And these issues range from a deficit in governance, a deficit in development, and a deficit in peace. These three issues, the three are intertwined. Where you have a shortfall in development, whether infrastructural or whatever sort of development, and you have a shortfall in governance and people do not feel the impact of government, this is the end result of it, that there will ultimately be a deficit in peace. To what is happening currently, the young people and old alike are out on the streets grieving. They're airing their grievances, telling the government that there are issues, particularly as it pertains to the institutions that are supposed to be saddled with the responsibility with protecting lives and property, and that is the Nigerian police force. And an element of it, which is the SARS. People have been out protesting for a couple of days now and demanding an end to SARS, which ultimately we have seen the government yield to. The government has shown some level of sensitivity as far as its approach to the concerns of the EndSars matters. So basically what we're seeing is that people are demanding for good governance. They are demanding for an end to police brutality. Virtually almost, if not all, Nigerians have had experiences with the SARS. That is no doubt. Myself included. I've had SARS operatives point guns to my head and ask me for ridiculous things which shouldn't be, you know. So we've had this sort of experiences, there's no doubt about that. And this is what has led us to where we are right now. But going beyond that, we must understand certain other issues. According to one of the very famous authors in my discipline, Paulo Freire, he opined in his book titled Pedagogy of the Oppressed, and he said that in an effort by the oppressed to liberate themselves from their oppressors, they must be very wary so as not to end up becoming the oppressors themselves. It's a good thing that the young people and the old alike are out there protesting, but we must be strategic in thinking and tactful in acting. The young people who are out there protesting have put their grievances forward. The government have listened, and because the government has listened and has understood the sensitivity of the issue, that's the reason why we have heard the president disband himself, SARS. And from what we understand, this government has tried on several occasions. This is the fourth or fifth time that the government has tried to disband this outfit. And now that we have seen the government take this approach, it is very important that people who are out there on the street, young and old alike, myself included, because I have given my voice to this struggle, it is time that we begin to have town hall meetings. It is time that we begin to find a way to diplomatically end these issues, because the reality is protests, demonstrations, wars, if you like, have never ended on the streets. They have always had to come back to the negotiating table. So this is a time where we should begin to see young people and old people alike bring forward or put forward demands that are tenable, that are achievable, short-term, medium to long-term, to see how we can address some of these basic concerns that affect the Nigerian state. So basically, this is the long and short of what we're seeing. And the reason why I have said this is because we are seeing what is happening on the street. At the end of the day, two things will end this whole thing. If we do not heed to my first point of having town hall meetings and so on and so forth, we will begin to see that either this movement will begin to lose momentum going further, because like I said, we must try not to become the oppressors ourselves. A lot of people are facing difficulties in trying to make a living for themselves. I saw a video a couple of days that a young man committed suicide because his phone was seized by SARS and he couldn't close a deal. I know somebody a couple of days ago who was trying to get to the airport to go to Lagos and close a deal, and my compatriots out there turned him around. Because he hasn't committed suicide does not mean he's not impacted. So what are we turning out to become? SARS ourselves? So these are some of the things that we must put into consideration and have an honest conversation around what we want to achieve. Or we will see that unscrupulous elements will hijack this whole protest, like we're seeing currently. Just a couple of days ago, 1,000 people
Dr. Mukhtar Imam will come to that.